there for a minute? Got a motion by Mr. Kennedy, second by Mr. Berry. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? My dang pen done quit, it won't work. All right, Mr. Britton, we glad to have you. Come on and give us good news.
Let's see, good news. Well, the good news is I'm proud to be here. But anyway, the purpose of my visit today, first off, to come to introduce myself. I'm Sam Britton, the Public Service Commissioner for the Southern District. And really the reason for coming here is just to come here because to serve the district, is to come here before the board, introduce myself, and explain to you that we're the Public Service Commission, and then make sure that you have a face to who I am, and make sure that you have good direct contact information to come to us, where if there's any issues or problems, you know someone to call to help get results instead of just trying to get on the phone and call. Now, the Public Service Commission, as some of you may or may not know, we oversee some of the utilities here in the state. We have varying degrees of authority over the different utilities for various reasons. And obviously, government-owned, we have very little oversight. Member-owned utilities like electric power associations, a little bit more. And investor-owned utilities, we have a lot of control over those. But also, too, I want to communicate and introduce you to Cindy Stanley here, who's on the staff. She'll be the one to make sure that you have her contact information so that any issues that come up, you'll have that contact person. Now, before I go on, as soon as I mention the word Public Service Commission and utilities and all, do any of you have any kind of issues that pops in your mind immediately that you would like to discuss?
There was supposed to be a lady here that had an issue, and I don't see her.
We will be more than happy.
I can kind of give you a little bit of it real quick.
Okay.
It's a water association, Bogan Ridge Water. And here's the main road, water line ends right here, her road comes off this way. There's 5 different dwellings there.
All right.
And they don't have public water. And the water company said that it would cost them $8,000 a piece to get the water line to run to them.
Mm-hmm.
And she don't agree with that. And she was gonna ask you if there anything you could do about it.
All right. Well, those are the very things that we look at to go. And just like Art, to address that a little bit more, a water association, most of those, and I'm assuming this one is a member-owned water association. The county doesn't own it, or a city or anything. Okay. Well, with the members, of course, we have limited authority over those. But now, the one area that we do have control over is the area of service that they have. We designate who can serve what area. And with that, the limited amount we have is quality of service. So we can talk to the water associations, and when someone has an issue like that, a lot of times we'll just kind of work with them, try and communicate back and forth and attempt to make sure that they're talking with the right people, make sure everybody's talking the same language, because at the end of the day, what everybody's wanting is just to get the resolution to something to where it works. And I'm sure that's a lot of what you guys come out with when you go out in the district. There's lots of stuff you can and cannot do. But a lot of times, if you'll just talk with people and attempt to work with them and tell them what you can do and what you can't, and then work with the ones and show up, you can find some kind of resolution to it. So what we'll do is we'll make sure to have Cindy's contact information to you. You can give it to the lady. She can talk to us, and we'll talk some more. And we will attempt to communicate and attempt to find out whatever issue there is, and whatever we can work through with it, we certainly will. Any other issues you can think of? Well, that's a good thing. Let me assure you, sometimes we have shown up to these Board of Supervisors, and then 30 minutes later we get to the end of this. But with that, again, we are also, the Public Service Commission is over pipeline safety also, and we have some rules. You probably heard about 811. That's something that's getting kicked off, and there's various issues with that moving forward. And that may be some of the issues that might pop up with you. And with that, you can communicate to us, and we can work through whatever issues we can. Because the end result, we want to try and get something that actually works for people where it goes forward. And again, the big reason to be here today is for me to absolutely introduce myself to you and introduce Miss Cindy and let you know that while we have limited authority, we will attempt to work with you on whatever issues there are to come to whatever resolutions we can get to the best possible outcome. And as being an elected official, I could go on for about 20, 30 more minutes extolling all of the great reasons why I am here and elected and should be re-elected again. But I will just come down to the end of it and say, I greatly appreciate you guys allowing us to come down and talk to you and visit. And I will conclude there unless there's any other questions that you guys would like to ask. We will wrap it up with that.
We're glad to have you.
Very much. Well, I will end with one little story. Before I had a life as a CPA, and I worked at the State Department of Audit, and did governmental audits there. And then I got out and had a private business, private CPA firm. And I did a lot of different audits from city, county, school, some board audits. That's one of the more complex ones you get involved in. But there was this quasi-entity that was out there, and it was made up of one where there was a couple of mayors on it by nature of their position and all. They were going through, and you know, you guys are where the rubber meets the road. There's no running. There's a problem. People are in here, and you're looking at those people. Well, these mayors up there at this thing, and two of these mayors, they just didn't see eye to eye. They, how to say, they hated each other. And they'd come up and they'd have all these issues trying to work through them, and they just never got on the same page. And one of them came in one time, they were talking about an issue, and we'll call them Buster and Jim Bob. No, Mayor Buster came in and he said, let me tell you, boys, I got this idea. And he goes through the idea and explains to them, and he says, and that'll work. Mayor Jim Bob looked at him, he said, you know, Mayor Buster, that is a right good idea. But you know, because you're for it, I got to be against it. And he voted against it. You can't make this stuff up. So with that, I have a great appreciation for you guys' work, and the fact that things are going well up here in the county, that's a lot of testimony to you guys. So with that bad joke, I will end it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming.
All right. If you would go, that would be great. It's good to see you. Anytime there's issues, you're good to strong. Good. We act up here this.
Where are you from?
I am live down just outside of Laurel, but I'm originally from Waynesboro, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Do you know someone from Waynesboro?
I know a lot of folks.
You know, one thing about when I was during the campaign, I was out and I got introduced as being from Laurel, and it didn't quite sit right. And I finally started saying, well, you know, originally I'm from Waynesboro.
Yeah, there you go.
That's when I found out 8 out of 10 people either knew somebody from Waynesboro or had a story from Waynesboro.
Yeah.
And now, well, that's good. That's good. Both of them. But then that's whenever I found out everybody's got a story about somebody, and it can be very entertaining.
It is, yeah.
Gentlemen, again, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.